I'm back. Like Jeff and his partner panel just wrapped up sharing their perspectives on Dynamics CRM. Next, we are joining Scott and his team of partner panelists as they share their key learning on building up their Dynamics 365 Business Central practices. Scott, looking forward to hearing and learning from your panel.
Well, thanks for that introduction, Marcel, and welcome everyone to our exciting session today, the Journey to Success with Business Central and our partner panel. We're really excited today to have some of our very successful Business Central partners, and we want to go through and have an open discussion about their success and what they're doing with Business Central and how they're being successful with it. So we appreciate everybody joining this morning, and we'll jump right into it. So with us today, we have Allison Blevin from Brommel Camp. We have Michael Moorhead from Marks Nelson. We have Jason Vlacich from Greyvock, and I'll be your moderator for today. My name is Scott May, and I'm of course with Stratos Cloud Alliance and Vlacich, and I'm the Director of Channel Programs. So if we want to get started, I'd like to just go through and have each of our panelists give a quick introduction of themselves and their organization, and then we'll jump right into some questions and start digging deeper on how they're successful with Business Central. Allison, would you like to start?
Sure, absolutely. As mentioned, my name is Allison. I work for Brommel Camp, home of Acquia Go. We are a foundation-based software company where we package solutions to help amplify the impact of the nonprofit.
Great, thank you very much. Michael.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Mike Moorhead. I am practice lead for our business applications group at Marks Nelson. Marks Nelson is a accounting firm started in Kansas City over 50 years ago. And recently we have decided to make the move into technology advisory and consulting. And that's how I fit into the panel today. I lead our business apps group, which includes, our Microsoft practice, whether that's BC, just any of the ERP, CRM applications that are complementary to that Microsoft stack.
Great, thank you for joining us today. Jason.
Yep, my name is Jason Vlacich, and I'm the Vice President of Software Solutions at Greyvock, and we're a Microsoft technology partner. And specifically in the solutions group, we sell and implement all of the Microsoft ERP platforms from on-prem GP to SL, NAV, and AX, and the cloud products, D365 for sales and CRM, Business Central, and Dynamics Finance and Operations.
Terrific. Well, again, thanks to everybody for joining us for the partner panel today. We certainly appreciate your time, and we'll look forward to your input about your success with Business Central. So just basically what we're going to cover today is just kind of how, some information about how you got involved with D365 and Business Central, kind of talking about the sales process, if you've got managed service packages and offerings, and, if you do some partnering, in those, and what challenges that you've seen basically come with the, getting into Business Central and being successful with that, and then just any other additional suggestions or comments that you would have for the attendees on this panel. So let's jump right in. So the first question is, kind of how did you get, involved with, D365, Business Central and Stratos, if you will. So, if you want to go through and just kind of get started, Allison, how'd you guys decide to jump into Business Central and get started with it?
Yeah, absolutely. We were initially, so we've been a company for 40 years and we worked on a previous platform. But when we decided to move to the Dynamics platform, we immediately started in the CRM. Initially, we partnered outside for an accounting software. As soon as Microsoft was ready to let loose Business Central, it was an obvious choice for us. Our integration between the CRM and the Business Central was a no-brainer. So Business Central has really helped elevate our accounting integration to a new level because of the seamless integration and because of all the other integrations Microsoft collaborates with.
Great. And you guys focus in a specific vertical market, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. So we're very foundation centric, nonprofit centric, and so all of our solutions are prepackaged for their need, and then we customize on top of that. So we were able, with Business Central, to have an extension that we could easily deploy to each client, which was much better than the predecessor accounting software that we were working with.
And just how much today, of your, basically existing clients or new clients, how much, are you on-prem still versus how much, have you moved, into the cloud?
So of our clients in the Dynamics platform, everybody is in the cloud. So that is one of our backbone structures that we did. We originally started on-prem, so we also had the pains of going from on-prem to the cloud. But now that everyone's there, there's no going back.
Okay, great. So you've had a big move to that. And how did you come across just working with the Stratos Cloud Alliance and finding us and kind of deciding to join with us for doing Dynamics 365?
Yeah, absolutely. That was also an easy choice for us. We did lots of research from different vendors, but we are very focused on our clients. We are a very intimate company. We want to handhold. We want to be there. We don't sell a license and walk away. We're also their support rep. Our clients all have support plans with us. They call us all the time. We want to help them. And so when we were doing our investigation, I got that same one-on-one communication from Stratos, which was very important to us. I wanted a human being to answer the phone when I had a need, because if I'm calling, it's important, and it's the same with our clients. When they call us, it's important. It's now. I need help now. So that was incredibly important to us. Additionally, we wanted someone who was as invested in the platforms that we were invested in as we were. And that was clear that Stratos was concerned about the Dynamics platform, Business Central, CRM, and those were the platforms that we care most about. We spread out from there. We have other integrations, but we wanted to make sure that someone was as invested in the backbone of our product as we were. So that was a great partnership.
Great. Michael, how about you? What's your journey been to BC?
Well, we've had a pretty natural progression. Interestingly enough, Allison, our practice started as a CRM practice as well. Even though we operate as an accounting firm, that's the majority of our FTEs are in tax audit and specialty services. Anyways, we started this business applications practice with the thought that we'll build on CRM and naturally the ERP clients will come as we'll have to advise them, being that, we do outsourced accounting and, outsourced CFO type engagements with a number of our clients. And typically our target client in those areas is in the middle market, right? So we're talking about a lot of folks that are either on QuickBooks or growing out of QuickBooks, folks that are, on a 5 to 7 year old implementation of GP, and now the proliferation of all of these readily available cloud apps and cloud ERP. You've got lots of options, but with the ubiquity of Office 365, BC is a pretty easy sell, right? It slides right in. We find a lot of people coming to us asking questions about Business Central, as opposed to really having to push it. Obviously, we're marketing that as well. Along with the other Microsoft ERP platforms, but it was just kind of a natural fit for us. Folks, like I said, the majority of them moving off of lesser functioning systems, and also everybody now looking for true cloud ERP. BC checks that box. It's user friendly. I mean, just on a very, very basic level, it's really easy to demo. The folks typically take to it. It's fairly intuitive, and so yeah, it just became a natural fit as another arrow in the quiver. As far as teaming up with Vlacich and the Stratos Cloud Alliance, I similarly like to pick up my cell phone and call somebody's cell phone. I found somebody at Vlacich who will answer it almost every time, and if he doesn't, he'll call me back almost immediately. I think you guys probably have the same relationship with Jeff. But we went through a number of CSPs before I found Vlacich, and I just didn't get the level of service, the level of expertise. You guys bring some unique, whether it's with the way you're handling relationships or the product expertise. Like I said, I went through 3 or 4 CSPs and then landed on Vlacich, and haven't felt the need to entertain any other
Great.
option. Yeah, I've been very happy.
It's really great to hear, Mike, and certainly appreciate those comments. Jason, how about your journey? What did that look like?
I think our first exposure to the cloud was really in 2017, and we started with Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations and CRM, and it was a natural progression for us being a NAV partner
Okay.
to move to Business Central and start to move some of our aging NAV customers over to Business Central and get them in the cloud. So we take up strategically all of our on-prem customers, whether it's GP, we're working with an SL, ISV today, and most of those customers are using SL really for the general ledger, so it seems to be a good fit to start to move them to the cloud and into Business Central. So that's really kind of our foray into the cloud. It was really kind of natural for us.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you working with a different indirect provider or CSP partner before joining up with Stratos, or was Stratos your first foray into the CSP world?
No, all right. So, like Michael, we've gone through and had experience with multiple CSPs. Our actually first experience was with a European CSP just because of the project that we were on, and we've gone through a couple of North American CSPs as well. We've never wanted to get into the direct CSP business, and we were looking for a good independent or indirect CSP that we could partner with. And I think in the early days for us, finding a CSP that was actually knowledgeable, back in 2017, 2018, our customers had a lot of questions. We had a lot of questions. How do you move a tenant? How do you license it? What's the pricing? And, in those days, Microsoft was still kind of scrambling to figure out some of those things. And then, to find a CSP, and for Vlacich, it's kind of, they were competent, really knowledgeable, and we got those answers to a lot of those questions pretty quickly. So we figured this is going to be mutually beneficial, for both of us. So that's kind of how we landed on Vlacich and the Stratos Cloud Alliance.
Great. Well, I certainly appreciate all the feedback on that, guys. Let's go ahead and kind of move forward and get into just a little bit more about, the sales process. And, I know in today's cloud world, and the margins and everything else, you really have to go through and have, a good, efficient, sales process, if you will. And it certainly differs than, in days of past of large kind of, ERP sales processes, that took, months or years specifically. So I kind of wanted to just open it up and talk about, 1 second here. I have a little technical difficulty, about, your sales process, and if you're doing anything different specifically, with Business Central that, is helping you guys out and being successful. So I think at this point, if we want to just kind of go reverse versus the same way, if Jason, you want to go through and start out with that would be great.
Yeah, sure. For us, I mean, we don't really offer a lot of verticals, so we kind of our sales process is really kind of a mix of opportunistic and strategic, and we haven't really varied our approach much from traditional on-prem products. When we come across new opportunities, they're certainly a little more opportunistic. We really have always started by finding the best fit solution. So whether it's GP, Business Central, depending on the size, it might be a finance and operations. Are they multi-currency, multi-company? Do they have multiple locations? So we kind of sit back and then determine what the best fit is first. And really, if they express interest in the cloud, then certainly that's going to put a higher weight on a Business Central or a Dynamics 365 F&O.
So do you have different, folks basically that would take a Business Central opportunity versus, let's say, a D365 F&O or a CRM?
Yeah, we absolutely do. I mean, the first thing that we do with every customer is really, it starts for us with an analysis, and that's key, is just to kind of get to know their business. What legacy systems are they coming from? Do they have a bunch of systems cobbled together? Sometimes those are a little bit more complex, but everything starts with an analysis for us, and then we figure out, okay, this is a good fit for Business Central. So we have a kind of a Business Central team, and we have, I wouldn't say it's really a prepackaged solution for Business Centrals, but certainly if it's just financials, we know, okay, this is what it's going to take for a level of effort. These are the package configurations that we're going to need, and pretty much what the number of hours are going to be for something like that. And we have, project plans all kind of laid out.
In your sales process, do you have kind of like a predefined sales process that you walk through? Or are you using, any kind of pre-recorded demos, anything that you've done to try and improve the efficiency in that area?
A lot of times it's hard for us to kind of pre-record things. Like I said, we kind of get on the line with a customer. Maybe in certain cases, we go through that analysis, and then we actually try to tailor the demos as a proof of concept to their business needs, depending on what it is. And like I said, if it is, if we realize pretty quickly, hey, this is a good fit for Business Central, then it's, really just financials with AP, GL, AR, cash management, then sure, we have a kind of a pre-canned demo that we walk through with a, order to cash, purchase to cash kind of scenarios.
Okay. Now, what's been your quickest BC sale that you can recall, time frame wise?
I would say for us, being in the Boston area, there's a lot of high tech and biotech startups. So generally for us, any of those startup companies that don't have any legacy systems and really no preconceived notions, it's a perfect fit. They want to get up and running, get their financials up and running, get a budget going. So those are typically our quickest wins, and that might turn into be just a quick demo, and then hey, we're ready to go. And it's also a good fit because they can kind of mold their businesses early on to fit the system rather than us having to kind of do all kinds of customizations. And those are also great because as the company grows, the implementation grows. They might add on project and job cost, manufacturing, trade and logistics, warehouse management.
Great. Michael, how about your guys' sales process? Since you kind of were new and getting into it, I mean, have you automated that? Have you kind of streamlined the process? How do you guys do it? No,
no. I was hoping Jason and Allison would have some tips for me on that. Actually, I know there's a lot of sessions in the BBC conference, so hopefully I can find one on sales processes.
Oh, there definitely is.
All right, good. I'll make sure to sign up for those. For us, it's simple. I don't know. It's this complex. It's very complex, but very simple. For us, it's just about understanding the client's needs, understanding the business, right? So we're typically, we engage with a company. Sometimes we're already a trusted advisor. If we're not, then our goal is to get to that status. So the sales process to me is about, in other industries, it might be about establishing rapport and, fancy sales techniques and overcoming objections and, all the stuff that you've heard in the books and the playbooks over the years. But for what I found is it's very, very simple. If you can make somebody believe that you can solve their problem, then that's really all there is. That's really all there is. All you need to know. So I guess typically we're dealing with smart people in the C-suite, making these decisions on these software implementations, and so they can sniff out BS from a long way away. And so really all I'm trying to do is get the conversation, establish the relationship, and if I can solve their problem, I think they're going to usually figure out within the first couple phone calls whether that's the case. Of course, we do all the other things, right? I mean, we've got webinars, we do marketing, social media. I've got, we do demos. However, I don't like to do demos. I like to do demos after I've really uncovered the business needs. Lost projects that way, but typically our clients, for whatever reason, my opportunities have not been, kind of open and shut, cut and dry financial deals. I wish I could just line those things up and knock them out all day, but it just never seems to be the case. Just like in our CRM world, I can count on one hand how many actual sales, force automation projects we've done in CRM. They're all XRM deals. They're all unique opportunities. So you got to bring a depth and breadth of knowledge to the table, and even having the crossover knowledge on the platform, whether it's in CRM or marketing automation, or like Jason mentioned, you can't just come to the table as a BC provider, or you can if you're niche specific and you've got some IP. For us, we're kind of across the board, so it's kind of wild west, and we're just along for the ride. And what we do is we're just trying to establish these relationships, solve client problems, lots of system integration, and we're lucky enough to have a diverse team who can answer these questions. We can bring a project team to bear that can talk CRM, that can talk, the full Microsoft ERP stack, that can talk system integration, custom app dev, that type of stuff. But so I don't know that I'm qualified to talk about a streamlined sales process. Unfortunately, I don't have any great answers. I think the reality is probably closer to the way I live than the folks who have really figured it out and have a canned offering, right? We all want a product to sell, but really what we're selling is our knowledge and our billable time. And if we can develop that IP, right, that's an end goal for everybody. Something we can build once and sell 1 million times, but we're not there yet.
Do you have, specific different people that, are dealing with different opportunities? Like, if it's BC or, CRM, do you have different kind of individuals that lead those at least?
Sure. Yes. We've got a couple solution architects on the ERP side, the CRM side, just the general app dev world, if we're talking about system integrations. Anyways, all of these folks we can bring to bear on the projects. Typically we can get the whole team involved on multiple projects, but that's it. I mean, like I say, I'm the practice lead, whatever that means. It means I'm typically the least informed guy on our team, right? So I bring the smart people to bear on these things, and we try to solve the problems, and that's it, right?
Good. Well, Allison, I know you guys have a little different, at least because you have a vertical market that you go after, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I was going to say, we're completely different. We have what we call a North Star. We have the perfect client. We aim for that client. We don't want to get lost in the weeds. We don't want to be everything to everyone. We want to be everything to the right client. And so our sales process is absolutely much different. We do have demos live and scheduled, but our clients have a very specific need that is not in the market. So we have built that, what you were talking about, I wish I had the perfect thing to sell. We've built the thing they need, and we sell them the thing they need. They know what they need. They're very educated on what they need. And they just look, there's only a few people selling it, and they compare the 3 options on the market and say, who's doing it better, who's doing it cooler, who's doing it sexier. And so we're just in that market, hoping that they think that we're the best fit for them. And we also want them to be a fit for us. So we have given demos that at the end was, all right, let's walk ways, because your style is a little different than our style. We've also given demos that at the end, it's a sell. One demo will do the job. But again, what's our longest sale is so much different than the world that y'all are living in. So we have foundations with boards and committees and meetings and meetings about meetings. So we have some sales that last years. Sometimes they start a year or 2 in advance, just planning out the RFP, not even the sale. And then we have the implementation, and then we have the execution. So the entire process itself is long, but every once in a while you hit the, the home run where someone comes in, sees one demo, likes it, you implement them right away. Very, very rare for us. But like I said, we have a North Star. Our sales process is 40 years in the making. Our sales team, some of the members have been with Bromwell Camp for, decades, right? So they're very intimate and familiar with the product that they're selling. And we're just looking to perfect the sales process so that we can show them exactly how amazing the product can work for them.
Great.
So yeah, all of our clients get business. If they want the accounting, they get Business Central. If they want Akoya Go, they get Dynamic CRM. So that is the platforms we build on, and everybody gets that. You had mentioned licensing and like of that as well. We're also unique, and we're not selling them licenses. We sell them a solution, and it's a software service provided. So we pay for the licensing. They're paying for a software as a service. So they pay us monthly for hosted services, but we don't actually sell them licensing.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for the input. I know from our perspective, we're trying to continue to segment out, our opportunities and put them on different paths, if you will. So there's certainly still the complex, sales opportunities of old that, aren't going to fit into kind of a rapid kind of remote sales process, if you will. But more and more, we're finding clients who, they do fit into a rapid process. And we're trying to go through with our business development folks, and just like you guys said, qualify them up front and understand which path they need to really go down, so that, the ones that we think can do kind of a rapid sales or remote implementation process, we have a team specifically for that, and a process built basically that, helps accelerate the sales process. Most of the clients that we're getting or prospects, they've already done a lot of their research, right, online. So, we're not trying to take them back to square one. We're trying to say, okay, they're coming in pretty well educated. How can we go through and provide them, the information and value that they need? And if it's a rapid remote, it goes to a specific sales individual who follows a very, kind of specific sales approach. And what we found is that, a lot of times, we don't have to do the customized demo. We can do, if it's, Jason, like you said, kind of a straight, glapper type of opportunity, we can go through and use, pre-recorded demos that we've, done in the past, and really go through and, get that client farther down the journey and compress the sales time. We had one basically that was just done. I think the opportunity came in the first week in May, and it just closed, this week. So, there is that opportunity to get, BC opportunities in and close quickly and efficiently, if you will. And, that's just what we're working with everybody. And Michael, as you had said, there are sessions in the rest of the business building conference week where we're going to be kind of covering that, if you will. So appreciate everybody's input on that. Let's move forward. Let's talk just about
that was my product placement for you, Scott.
Yes, I appreciate that. And we didn't even rehearse it, so that was great. Just really kind of, wanted to talk about managed services, packaged offerings, partnering. Do you guys, kind of have additional managed services that you add on to your sales, with BC? Do you have, pre kind of packaged implementation, offerings, again, that you sell, to the client? And just, kind of talk about how you're, do you work with other partners, if you will, on any, opportunities, and how you're kind of, working that process. So, I think we started with Allison once and Jason once. So Mike, how about we start with you?
Yeah. So when I think of managed service, I think of infrastructure, and that's where my mind goes. And we don't do that. We could call our support agreements, post go live, that type of stuff, managed services as well, which of course, we sign those types of agreements, and those are good kind of annuities for us in the practice to keep keep our clients up to date, up to speed, and operational. As far as infrastructure and managed services and partnering on that side, that's the first thing that pops into my mind, because
Michael, I lost the audio.
did I fat finger the mute button? You had me starting out. I wasn't on mute that whole time, was I?
Just for a second. No.
All right, good. All right. So partnering, yeah. So we're partnering with a number of other folks that have complementary services to what we do, and that's Jumpstart for our tech practice is referral partners. There's no substitute for a good referral partner, right? And especially reciprocate. I mean, that's not an epiphany for anybody there, but if you want to get the maximum amount of prospects with the absolute least amount of legwork, find somebody else some business and try to set up a reciprocal agreement where they can find you business. But packaged services, we don't have anything canned. Again, we're a fairly immature practice with mature resources, but when it comes to packaged services, IP, managed services, that's something that we're working towards, but just not there yet. And I think that exists even in very mature practices. It's just the way of the world, and it's kind of like price admission for what we do is staying up on the latest and greatest, figuring out way to generate leads, and one of the ways we do that is a vast network of referral partners.
Have you been able to leverage and work at all with our Vlacich and the managed services team and the solutions that we offer yet at this point?
I brought you guys in on some opportunities already, and this was probably maybe 18 months to a year ago. And the progression we've made, there's still some gaps that I think you guys could help us fill. But yeah, you've been helpful in not only entertaining some of these opportunities in the past, but also just helping us from a functionality level. BC is still a fairly new application, and it's helpful to have somebody else who you can go and get some technical questions answered from, especially if it's backed by licensing acquisition. Then you guys have been more than forthcoming with your knowledge base and availing some of your resources to help us answer some questions.
Terrific. Allison, how about you guys? I know from the deals that I've seen, typically you're packaging in Office and other solutions. So do you guys have managed service offerings along with that? I know you said you kind of do it as a service for your clients, so I'd be interested to hear a little bit more about how you guys do it.
Yeah, so the Business Central and CRM is a package deal for us, and then on top of that, we have a solution inside our CRM and a extension inside the Business Central. And I would say we're fully packaged and fully managed. So we are never done with our client. We're constantly pushing updates to them in those solutions. So any enhancement we create, everybody gets. So as far as partnering goes, we partner with our clients, most importantly. They come to us and they say, what would be cool? What I want? And then we build it for them and give it to everyone. And it's we have the benefit of the foundation, the nonprofit sphere, where everybody really does want to lift everybody else up. So it's communal. So we're sharing ideas and we're partnering with our clients. We also partner with outside entities. Right after this meeting, I have another one with another venture company that thinks they have a way to make our product better and to work together. So we're always open to partnering with anybody who's already doing something really, really good. We partner with things like Candid, who owns GuideStar, for great tax reference systems, and any way that we can enhance the product and get the work done that the foundations need faster, easier, more streamlined. But as far as the Office sphere goes, we also partner with the other Office products like Power BI and Flow. Teams now has become huge a way for our clients because of COVID. So we're just trying to utilize everything Microsoft has to offer, and a lot of our clients already are utilizing it. So, you know, as you all know, CRM, the integration with Outlook and with Exchange, it makes life amazing. So we want our clients to have the Office package, but we don't purposely sell it at all. We encourage them to use it. We encourage them to find their own subscriptions. We're only providing them licensing for the CRM and for the Business Central piece of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Jason, how about Greyvoc? How are you guys doing it?
So at Greyvoc, it's a little different for us because we have an IT practice and an information security practice. Both of those groups actually offer managed services. Okay. So in the early days, you know, everything was on-prem. So we were kind of that utility knife where if you needed a new ERP system, you obviously needed a network. You know, you needed backups and security. So it's kind of started that way, and it's evolved, you know, over the years into, you know, really managed services. So our IT group will do desktop support, security patching, backups, and the security group offers some, you know, other managed services as well. And a lot of those actually complement our solutions in ERP business. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we might get a customer in the IT practice or in the security practice, and there's a lot of cross-selling that goes on to help our customers succeed. So that works out pretty well for us, you know, at the end of the day. As far as partnering, yeah, we certainly will partner with any ISV solutions or any other partners that have a pre-canned solution that will help enhance our Business Central solution. And we also do a lot of partnering on the implementation side, both with other partners and for instance, we have one right now where they're actually a European partner that has a couple of North American subsidiaries. So they turn to us for some localization help with sales and use tax, banking issues, and also some localized training. So those opportunities are great as well.
With the managed services, do you guys just package that up into kind of one, you know, monthly price that you're giving to them, or are you still breaking it out into, you know, kind of, hey, here's your, you know, BC cost, here's your managed service cost? Just kind of curious if you're rolling that up into kind of one offering yet at this point, or if it's still kind of separate offerings.
They're still kind of separate offerings. I mean, you know, and I guess maybe it is because of the way they're kind of separate practices, right, that take care of a couple of those different things. So the Business Central is, you know, kind of a different package. And then, you know, the IT guys, a lot of times, you know, they'll come to us for Office 365 and desktop support and some server support. So those are kind of, you know, they'll get two separate monthly subscriptions, you know, depending on what the different services are.
Okay. Great. Well, certainly appreciate, again, everybody's feedback in that regards. You know, I know, you know, again, from our perspective, you know, we're trying to look at ways to continually, you know, package solutions up, you know, so that, you know, the client basically, you know, sees that as, you know, kind of one solution that includes, you know, BC, you know, CRM, maybe Office components, and, you know, making it easy for them to consume and digest, if you will. And then, of course, you know, on the back end, you know, provide some additional managed services like, you know, disaster recovery. Security is becoming big, as you know, we're seeing with ransomware and things of that nature that you know, clients just at least that we've dealt with, you know, aren't prepared for. And certainly, you know, that's an opportunity for all of us to, you know, jump in there and help them in those areas as well. So just continue looking to upsell and kind of cross sell, you know, help those clients with, you know, their needs across all their, you know, business application needs, if you will. So let's move forward and jump into, you know, just kind of challenges that you've come across and, you know, how you've overcome them, if you will, and, you know, what advice that you would have to, you know, other partners that are really just, you know, if you will, getting started, you know, on their journey with, you know, Business Central, and just, you know, kind of, you know, how do you go through and, you know, onboard new, you know, people to Business Central, you know, sales training, just, kind of some general advice on for those partners starting with Business Central, what experience that you've had and some of the things that you might be able to impart to them that will help them overcome challenges quicker. Allison?
Still learning because Business Central is so new, but historically we have formalized trainings for both oncoming clients as well as staff. We want to make sure everybody is, up to speed on the product. It's a little bit easier for us because everyone's getting the same product in our world versus yours, which maybe they're not getting the same product. We have learned a lot of mistakes along the way as far as packaging our solutions and extensions. So that's been fun, not at all. But, the CRM side, we got a lot of advice that we shouldn't be managed solutions way back in the day. And then we decided we needed what we called a stack solution. So we had different things, and depending on what you bought, you got different versions. And we ultimately, through all the stress and anguish, learned, no, we need to be a single solution that is managed. And then we'll tell you what you get based on security. That was a long, hard growth along the way. So I guess my best advice was, don't ask someone else, ask everybody, and then get all the information and then look back to yourself and say, what is it I do and how would this work best for me? It was a long learning process to get there. Business Central has been way easier with the extensions because of the way they're deployed. So we've had less lessons to learn along the way, but we're still getting there, and we're still adding to our extension every day. So the way you package what you're giving out is very important. And I would say ask yourself those questions up front from the very beginning, if it's a shared solution like ours is.
Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Michael?
Yeah, so what's the gist of the question? How do new partners?
Yeah, well, just
stepping in it right off the bat.
What challenges have you run across in launching, your Business Central practice, and what advice would you have to other partners that are just starting that might help them avoid mistakes or the challenges that you came across?
Yeah, lots of challenges. Hourly. I had a problem with the sunlight even this morning, as I'm probably sure you saw. So, gosh, I don't know. I asked a lot of questions. I got a lot of help. And when I say I mean we. If you're starting out as a provider in this business, a solution provider in this business, the challenges, the myriad challenges from basically how do I, you've got to understand just the basic building block of tenant management, right? And how just to license Business Central. And, somebody like Vlacich can help you with that. When you're talking about implementations just on a basic level, on an ERP level, you're talking about basic financial implementations or migrations. If you've got a small team or a new team or an immature team, partner up with a large organization who's got these things down pat. There's a lot of that going on in the marketplace, right? And people are happy to do it, right? I mean, if I can get a chunk of an implementation, I don't mind carrying somebody else and bringing them along. I mean, if you can mentor, your employees, you can also mentor other groups that may eventually become your competition. But there's a ton of competition out there, and there's enough business to go around. So I think that's one easy way to overcome some of these challenges. But I certainly don't have a silver bullet. Like I said, what we do, it requires time and expertise, and hiring the right people is the key to a lot of this stuff. Hiring the right people, partnering with the right people, and not biting off more than you can chew. Saying no to a potential bad client will be the best decision you ever make. Although when you're getting started, you need those wins, and they come at a cost, right? So there's a fine line between that risk and reward, and how do I build, progress, expand? If you do have to take on a certain level of risk, and that's just inherent in operating these days. And so you can offset some of that risk by having a that has been through, been down in the trenches maybe longer than you have. So I that would be some advice I would offer. Be humble, ask for help. Don't think you're the smartest guy or gal in the room. Understand that you're not, and try to find somebody who is to help you.
Great. I certainly appreciate that honesty. Jason, how about you guys?
Yeah, so I think for us, the most important thing is we've learned you can't skip that analysis. It's really important for both parties to understand what the level of effort is and what they're getting into it. What's required from both sides. What they're going to get out of it at the end of the day, and kind of doing a thorough fit gap analysis to make sure that the product is really what they're looking for, and that it's a good fit. I think one of the biggest challenges that I've seen so far from on-prem versus cloud is really, especially when it comes to customizations. A lot of D365 F&O and Business Central now are kind of going for this unified code base.
Mm-hmm.
So developers don't have the same capability anymore for modifications. Now they have to basically find hooks and triggers in order to deploy that modified code. So we try to, wherever we can, we try to ask the question, is there any way to conform your business processes more than ever to fit kind of the system, rather than in the old days it was, yeah, sure, we could customize that or do that for you. So I think that's one of the things with the cloud products is that, the level of customization is a lot more difficult, and I think people are going about it the right way these days and asking the question, hey, can we basically alter our processes a little bit to fit the system rather than kind of the other way around,
Mm-hmm.
So that you end up going down a rabbit hole with that. So that's one of the pitfalls I think that, people should look to avoid. And then I would say the other thing is really keeping an open line of communication, having weekly implementation meetings and risk assessments, and really trying to get the customers involved with conference room pilots, every couple of weeks, and getting their hands on and really getting them involved and making sure in those weekly meetings that both the partner and the customer are holding up their end of the deal and making sure that they're getting their weekly tasks and assignments done. For us, I think as far as onboarding new BC consultants, we actually do a lot with teams. So we have a Business Central Teams channel, and inside of that Teams channel, we have all of our implementation and solutions design documents, and they're all laid out with step-by-step tasks and checklists. So we kind of walk through any new consultants into that Teams channel so that they get a good handle on our implementation methodologies, and it should walk them through the step-by-step. We talked about that kind of base financial package. So I think one of the things I learned from you, Scott, today is maybe we will package that up and with some managed services and get that all under one roof and go forward with that. So yeah, it's been good, and I think that customers are definitely a lot more receptive to moving to the cloud these days. So yeah, that's been great.
So I certainly appreciate everybody's input. Have you guys started looking at in the new cloud world, of course, with named users and everything? Are you starting to work with your clients, whether it's with BC or any of their cloud solutions? Are you starting to help them look at their optimization of their seats, whether it's on Office or Business Central or CRM, and trying to go through and help make sure that they're maximizing the use of the licenses that they purchased?
Yeah, I would say absolutely. I mean, it's everything can be done right from the Office portal now, and they can manage all their licenses. So we strategically will sit down with them and they'll come to ask us, hey, we might need another license here, or how do we manage some of these things, or even simple things like we want to use, I think Allison said, hey, Teams is really becoming a thing now, especially in the COVID-19 days. So, we'll sit down with them and say, hey, there's a certain thing that you can do when you set up Teams to, automatically put a conference call out there. And all that stuff can be done through the Office portal. So we try to work with the customers on the licensing and getting things like that set up for them.
Michael, Allison, are you guys doing things like that with your clients as well?
Yeah, our clients are becoming pretty savvy, really. When you talk about the tenant administration and being able to operate in the portal. Additionally, once they get a taste of the Office 365 experience, now everybody, all of our clients, when can I get off Exchange Online? We move from whatever our collab app is to Teams, right? I mean, that's a pervasive theme these days. All of that stuff, and then of course there's the discussion of you got to help them understand. There's so many SKUs, right? That licensing is kind of its own little circus, and we're all trying to figure it out as we go along. But with the help of a solid CSP, right? It's not that difficult. But it is hard for the clients to understand since there are so many different licenses. So yeah, that's a huge part of this. And then also making them understand, whether it's a Teams license or a Pro license or which one they can fit in, because you can save somebody a lot. We can save clients a lot of money if we put them in the right licensing.
Allison?
So like I mentioned before, we sell exclusively the Business Central and the CRM and the solution that we're deploying. We encourage to the hills everything else, but we let them get them on their own. But our product is so reliant on that whole Office package. If they don't have Exchange, they don't get the full value of Dynamics CRM and Business Central. They just don't. So we encourage greatly that they use the other pieces of the puzzle. And as one of you gentlemen said, our clients are really good. They're savvy. It didn't used to be like that. We used to, especially in the foundation world, we had older clientele. Well, those older people are sort of starting to retire and they're being replaced by young, tech savvy, ready to go people. And they're ready for it and they're hungry for that connection and that connectivity and that singular hub and dashboards and, the power that Power BI is going to bring to the table is going to be revolutionary, So I think we encourage it, but we personally are not selling it and ensuring that they're doing it. We're just encouraging it as best we can.
Yeah. I know from our perspective, we're, kind of, offering out, audits to our clients, right? To help them understand, are they using all their licenses efficiently? And like you had said, Michael, sometimes it's saving them money because, maybe they, don't need some of the licenses and they can, deactivate them. But most of the time it's really looking at, okay, well, you've already got that spend going. Those licenses may not be needed, but are there other things that you could be using them for, such as what you had mentioned, Allison, getting into Power BI or getting into Teams or other areas. So, kind of what we're finding is, that audit, helps clients, understand, where else they can go through and leverage, the licenses and the spend that they're already doing to get greater value out of it. And then, again, that's on our part, kind of the value that we bring to the client is, helping them make sure that they're, maximizing, their spend, and it's helping drive, business issues and results. So certainly appreciate, everybody's input today. I think we're getting towards the end. So, if there were any questions that were put in the chat that we weren't able to get to, we will certainly go through and respond to those, as best possible, even after the session is over. So I wanted to just go ahead and wrap things up. Thank our panelists, Jason, thank you, Allison. Thanks, Michael. Any parting, kind of last comments that any of you would like to impart to our attendees at this point? Oh, you might be on mute again.
No, nothing groundbreaking.
I would just say it's a journey and enjoy it and, keep moving forward. And, the technology is getting better and better every day. And the cloud is definitely the future. So
I would agree. And the only thing I had is, although it appears that we're all three doing something totally different, we're all able to be super successful. So embrace your own ideas and let the technology do the work for you.
Great. Again, thanks to all of you for your willingness to participate, and have a great rest of your Friday afternoon. Thanks again.
Likewise. Thank you.
Bye.